Hey guys, Bugcat7 here. Okay, it is Friday, February 22nd, 2019, and I want to thank you for visiting the Stonewall Research channel here on YouTube. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. I know you got a lot of videos to watch, so I'm making a little short one here today. Covering a little info on the pyramids here because my last video was about article that I read about Saqqara and Seraphim there, with the bulls there being like maybe an ancient power plant of some sort. And to follow along those lines, I've had on my channel for a very, very long time now this very, very powerful lecture by Manly P. Hall, and I know just recently Chuck from CF Apps had posted this lecture on his channel, and when he did it, I didn't say anything about it, because, first of all, it's excellent, but I didn't want to mention that I had it on my channel as well. But I've had it on my channel for a long time, and it's a very powerful lecture about Atlantis and the Gods of Antiquity and about many different levels of things. Manly P. Hall was like a super smart guy, very intelligent guy, and he believed in any number of things. I mean, he was a student of history and a student of the esoteric stuff. And this is just a powerful, powerful lecture. Just listen a little bit to what he has to say. This is in part 5, because I have it in parts. I think Chuck has it all in, one part there, but, I had to do it this way because it's the only way. I had old, this is, I downloaded this, I don't know, 10 years ago, something, whatever it was, but it's old. But in any case, listen to what Manly P. Hall has to say about the pyramids. Just listen. I hope you can hear it. It's a very old recording.
And wisdom. But the pyramids are very strange things. Their distribution upon the surface of the earth is most extraordinary. Work is now being done, and I hope it will be carried on to a successful conclusion, to study and chart the locations of pyramids in relation to the magnetic fields of the planet. We know that the planet is a kind of crystal, that it has areas of fission, that it has magnetic fields, and that these magnetic fields are very important to the survival of life and to the distribution of energy. These magnetic fields may sometimes be the substitute for every method of locomotion or all forms of fuel in the world today. I went to the pyramid of Giza.
Anyway, I just thought that was very interesting that Manly P. Hall, I forget when this lecture was done, but, some way in the past, in the 50s or something like that, 40s, 50s, Manly P. Hall was around for a long time, and it goes back quite a bit. And I just found that interesting that, Manly P. Hall had mentioned that. I mean, the whole lecture is fascinating, guys. So, I mean, if you would, go to my playlist. It's all in a playlist. It'll just play right through in the playlist. But Manly P. Hall's lecture on Atlantis and the Gods of Antiquity is just fascinating. Just fascinating. And that's why I have it on my channel, because he just, what he says in that lecture, I just relate to it just so much. I mean, all the stuff that he says. And I think, Sylvia's even mentioned Manly P. Hall. Many people have. Robert Sepher, Atlantean Gardens, he also refers to Manly P. Hall a lot of times. I think he's even referred to this particular lecture. But in any case, just as a side note to that, a friend of the channel, this fella John Shaughnessy, okay, and John Shaughnessy's been a friend of my channel for quite some time now, and I subscribe to him. He's just a fascinating guy. He's an engineer, and I guess with a physics background. He wrote a book called Pyramid Gravity Force. Okay, so he wrote a book called Pyramid Gravity Force, and he also wrote a book, Something About the Moon. And lately he's been into Göbekli Tepe and Stonehenge. He's been trying to figure things out. He's a real smart guy. He does all the math and everything. His presentations are quite scholarly. So, you know, here's a guy who's really down deep in it. And he's got his own theories about things, you know. You can either agree with him or not, but right here, I mean, he goes through this quite a few times on his channel. He talks right here about the pyramid gravity force, okay? In 1, 2, 3, he does it a couple of times. And also something about the moon, his book, and about how there's these gigantic effigies on the moon, he claims, and he discusses it and he talks about it. It's just fascinating. So, again, John is a friend of the channel. You know, I often ask him, you know, to check out my videos when he can, you know, but he really has a sort of deep understanding about the moon and the earth, the gravitation. He claims that pyramids are gravitational lenses. So, you know, that's why we find them all over the earth. And even Manly P. Hall, you know, sort of postulated that, you know, the pyramids were some sort of, you know, electrical magnetic, you know, device, you know, grid on the earth. So, and, you know, I have, you know, talked to John about this, and he had no idea about Manly P. Hall's lecture and what he said about the pyramid. He had never heard Manly P. Hall's lecture, so it's just his work. But he's a fascinating guy. I'll put a link in the description and at the end of the video to this. And, you know, there's something about the moon book video in there. I'll put a link to that. Just listen to what the guy has to say. It's just somebody thinking out of the box, you know. And again, he's a very scholarly guy. He goes through a lot of the math on this stuff and the physics and everything. And I just found it fascinating, you know, that, you know, what Manly P. Hall said in this lecture over here about Atlantis and the Gods of Antiquity, and the relationship to what, you know, John Shaughnessy is all about his books, and what he thinks about, you know, how the pyramids are these gravitational lenses is just a fascinating topic. So in any case, guys, I wanted to just do this short video and mention about these two things, because we were talking about, you know, the power plant at Saqqara at the Serapeum there, and, you know, what the pyramids could potentially be for. And, you know, maybe it has a lot to do with stabilizing the gravity on this planet, and, you know, preventing ice ages from happening, as Mr. Shaughnessy sort of postulates. But you got to listen to what he has to say. I don't want to give too much away, because he's got some fascinating stuff on his channel. I hope you go there and look at it. But all right, guys, so, you know, check it out. You know, pyramids are, you know, gravitational lenses, you know, going back to Manly P. Hall's theory about it, and now, you know, John Shaughnessy in our time, you know, it's just, you know, his take on these things is just very, very unique. And you got to check him out. You got to check his channel out over here, John Shaughnessy, okay? Something About the Moon and Pyramid Gravity Force. Two great books you got to check out. All right, guys. Anyway, Bugcat7 signing out. And next video, we're going to do something also about Egypt. I'm working up on that. I just finished James Patterson's, you know, sort of, you know, novel, you know, history book, the Murder of King Tut. So we're going to be talking about Tutankhamun, I think, in the next video. So, all right, guys. Anyway, Bugcat7 signing out, guys. Hit the like button, please, if you would. Peace.